Hello, welcome to the Book Babble for June. So we had some pretty good responses to the last month's video, and a lot of you came into the store and bought those books, so thank you for doing that. So this time, for starters, the soundtrack we have going, I'm having a bit of an 80s flashback, seeing as we watched Atomic Blonde last night, so that's why you can hear all 80s music in the background, which is kind of cool, and I'm enjoying it. Okay, so we are going to go with the series first for this month, and our series is Ingrid Thoft's Fina Ludlow series. Loyalty is the first one. There are, I think, 4 in the series at the moment. I haven't seen a 5th one. That doesn't mean there isn't one, but at the moment I think Ingrid is doing a lot of either writing or touring, but yeah, there haven't been any more since Brutality, I think. Each one has like Loyalty is the first one, and then there's a bunch of others, and they're all a one-word title. Okay, so I thought I'd had it with the PI genre, especially the female PI genre, because Sarah Paretsky has basically nailed it, and that was what I thought. And then I read this, and I realised that Sarah Paretsky, I like Sarah Paretsky, but I love these Ingrid Thoft books. They are just amazing. I said that word again. I need to stop using the word amazing. Okay, so Fina Ludlow is, her family are Boston royalty. They are also lawyers. Fina is not a lawyer. She is a private eye. And in the very first one of these, it's family loyalty that's tested because her sister-in-law goes missing. And Fina is pretty sure that she knows that it's something to do with family or family ties or something that the family has done that has caused this. And she then has to basically go against the family. But not, it's not all to do with that first case. There's also a lot of family interplay. Her niece features quite heavily in these, and also one of her 4 brothers who are all lawyers. So yeah, great series. We are now moving on to a book I bought, The Rook by Daniel O'Malley. There are only 2 books that Daniel O'Malley has written, which is why I wouldn't call this a series yet. I'm hoping that there will be a 3rd. But it took 4 years for him to write the next one in this particular series. If the name The Rook looks familiar, it has been optioned as a TV show. But that is, I read these maybe about 2 or 3 years ago, 4 years ago. So this is like on Her Majesty's Supernatural Secret Service. It's set in England. It's kind of Doctor Who meets Monty Python with a bit of Torchwood thrown in. And it's funny in parts, it's scary in parts, but the very first line hooked me because it said it's a woman. She wakes up in a park and she has no idea who she is, or she knows she's in a park. She's surrounded by people who are wearing rubber gloves, and they're all dead. And so she reaches into her pocket to find some kind of ID or something to indicate, what's happened, and she finds a letter. And the first thing it says is, "The body you're wearing used to be mine." And that was it. I was gone. The follow-up to this is called Stiletto, and basically it carries on from where The Rook leaves off. There are people in Europe who have supernatural powers, if that makes any sense, and there are some that have engineered supernatural powers, and this is kind of they're trying to come to some kind of alliance in the second one, not necessarily as well as you would hope, but yeah, The Rook and Stiletto. I have both of these books. Stiletto is actually out on loan somewhere, so I don't have it to show you, but yeah, we have this in the shop. And I know that when we went to Forbidden Planet in London, they had it, so it's all over. Now, the coming soons, normally I would show you these books, but as quite often happens in the world of book blurbing, you can't hang on to it for long. And so all of these three I have blurbed, but I had to pass them on because we want everyone to read them. And so I can give you a brief summary of them and tell you roughly when they're coming out, but I cannot show you the covers. Sorry about that. Okay, so the first one is Neverworld Wake by Marisha Pessl, who did Night Film and Special Topics in Calamity Physics. She has done what she calls a young adult book, but I think it would work very well for adults as well. It's a group of teens who they were at this really cool college together, and one of the group of teens died. And a year later, they have all scattered to the four winds, but they meet up for the group's leader's birthday. And they go out to a concert, and on the way back, they have a very near miss with a car. When they get back to the house, things feel a little strange. And then there is a knock at the door. And there is a guy standing there who tells them that basically they're all dead. They have all died. And they are caught in something called the Neverworld Wake, because one of them can survive, but it has to be a joint decision between all of the people who are currently dead. So on that note, I will move on to the next one. And the next one is see, The Middleman. Actually, no, I do have that. I'm lying. I do have The Middleman because I'm about to blurb it, but I haven't. I have read it. So this is The Middleman, Olin Steinhauer. I read his All the Old Knives, which was it was set during a two old friends meeting for dinner, and it kind of went back into their pasts, and he does really good spy stuff. This is not quite as spy-y. In fact, I was reminded a little bit of the Washington Decree when I was reading this. Not because it's identical, because it's not, but it is a left-wing extremist group who, on the 4th of July, decide that they are going to take a pickaxe to democracy. And it's also about a female FBI agent who is trying to stop them. And in doing that, her investigation gets co-opted by people who want to bury something. She doesn't know what. And in order to find out what, she has to go back to the genesis of another group who were in Germany, in Berlin. And this group were supposedly about to release a bombing campaign when they blew themselves up. And when she goes back to Berlin, that's when things start to make sense. It is a very timely book, because usually the groups that are extremist are right-wing. And this just goes to show that extremism goes both ways. It doesn't matter what stripe you are. If you go the full extreme, then your views not matching up with somebody else's can cause a lot of problems. And I think that we have so many problems at the moment because everyone has their own opinion and wants to convert everyone else to what they think, and that is a bad thing. Anyway, enough of that. This one is, let's see, the Marisha Pessl is June. This one is, I believe, August. Yes, this one's August. Okay, and so we have a couple of advanced ones. Cross Her Heart by Sarah Pinborough. I loved Behind Her Eyes, and I am really looking forward to reading this. I have no idea if it's going to be anything like Behind Her Eyes, because that had a what the hell ending, but it made perfect sense. I was actually discussing it with a customer last night, and we were saying that it was one of those books that when you were reading it, you were like, okay, I know what's going to happen, and then suddenly it was like a train wreck. Somebody just came in from the side and just knocked every idea that you ever had out. And yeah, the ending for Behind Her Eyes was just incredible. And so this one, as far as I know, it's 3 women. One is on the run from something. One is the daughter of the woman who's on the run but doesn't really know that her mother is on the run or why. And the other one is the mother's best friend. And they're all hiding secrets, and when those secrets come out, they could all be in very great danger. So this is Cross Her Heart. This one, Nomad. This I am dying to read simply because it reminds me a little bit of I Am Pilgrim, which is one of my favourite books from about 3 or 4 years ago. It appears to be a like lone wolf survivor of an attack against British intelligence by the looks of it. It looks like he's blamed for the attack, and then he has to go on the run and figure out who it was who actually attacked him and his friends. But I think he teams up with an ex-army girl from an organisation called Rubicon. That is as far as I've got, because I've read the back of it. But yeah, this one is next on my to-read list. I'm going to read The Cross Her Heart next after that. But yeah, this... Oh, and also a brief follow-up report, both of the Forbidden Door, the Dean Koontz that I was talking about last month, and the Comic-Con one are just... Again, they're going to be people that I can just say, if you like comics, you're going to love this. And the same with the Dean Koontz. But of course, you then have to say to them, have you read the first one? And then they've got another 3 books before they get to this one. Okay, so that's it. I'm keeping these short because apparently anything over 15 minutes and YouTube gets its knickers in a twist. So hope you enjoyed this romp through some books. I will see you next month, and happy reading.